Shut up and sit down.
Welcome to the Bricks King podcast, where I'm going to bend your ear about Lego, review those amazing bricks of plastic, and discuss what is new and up and coming around the Lego world. I'm your minifig host, Matt. Let's build on it. Welcome in, everybody. How are you doing today? Hopefully you're doing quite lovely. I am suffering from sunburn. Texas sun, man. It is no joke. Absolutely no joke. I had an opportunity to have some family in town, go watch some MotoGP racing. If you know what MotoGP is, you are a cool person to me. If you don't, you're still a cool person. You're just not as cool. How about that? Anyway, so this episode this week, I've been trying to figure out how I wanted to go about this. How was the best way to really dig into a current set compared to an old set? And you know, I workshopped it, went round and round, and I wrote so many things, so many notes. I was like, we could do it like this. I could do it like that. Or what if I compared it this way? So I'm going to kind of take a hodgepodge of everything. Nothing sounded 100% good. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get into it. The first thing we're going to discuss is the emergency rescue helicopter from Lego City. 60405 is the set number. It retails for $20, 20 euros if you are aware of. You need to know that, kind of give you a baseline. And it has 226 pieces. Now, I will tell you, and I always preface this because I have been very critical of Lego City helicopters for a long time. Nothing new. Sometimes they stick them in like police stations or fire stations or, fire add-ons. Sometimes it's a $10 build. You can get what you pay for there. Sometimes it's a $20 build. You get what you pay for. Sometimes when you have a big set, you pay $100 like a Lego City set or 120, maybe. And you're kind of like, oh, this is just like an extra. And it's been like that forever. But there are times where I feel or have felt, and even still feel to this day, that you kind of get gypped. And you look at it and you're like, am I really getting the value here? Is this really that good of a build? So let's go ahead and talk about this one. So this helicopter is new for 2024, and I've had it sitting here for a couple weeks now. Love the build of this thing. Absolutely exquisite in the way that it is done. The coloring, you have some teal that is on the bottom side of this. You have that kind of neon yellowish color, that spring yellowish color. Very, very rescue oriented, right? And those are always important things. Color sends a loud message. Of course, it has white, it has black, the whole big shebang. The skids on this thing are, I'm losing pieces. The skids on this thing are actually, believe it or not, they are not just one solid piece, which is new. This is a new concept as far as helicopters go. It's actually made up of a bunch of little Technic pieces here, little Technic tubes. And I was honestly blown away. I did not see this coming at all. I fully expected, in the process of opening this, playing with it, building it, whatever, that we were going to see, kind of the big chunky, dark bluish gray helicopter landing piece. I'm really shocked that they didn't do that. I'm blown away. I could not believe it. So the helicopter itself, 4-blade helicopter, right? You get the big standard blades that we always see. But they did something different. This is a wider helicopter, and they used one of the newish type windscreen cockpit type pieces that we've seen in some cars and stuff like that. And here's the nice thing. Your pilot cannot sit 100% straight up because his head actually does, when I say 100% straight up, I mean to the very, very, very front of where his legs would, well, not break, but you know what I mean. But he sits straight up, and you can close this thing, and it closes against a sloped tile here, which is really nice in the way that is done, because it gives it a little nicer connection. And it's not a connection as far as studs go, but it's just the way that it touches, the pieces touch. It just works out perfect. So that is in the the trans clear blue. God, I'm struggling today. Anyway, the intakes just above, below, parallel, in line with that are cupcakes that are in, I guess they're facing upside down or whatever. The cupcake pieces that we have. Love it. So that's kind of neat. Anyway, so your pilot has a little 1x2 printed tile here, and it's just got the yellow and red buttons and stuff like that. It's a standard piece. We've seen it so many times. Not a bad thing, but it's a more of a common place at this point in time. There is a secondary seat with a you can call it a co-pilot if that's what you want to call it. So you do have that option as well, which is always nice. As we move a little bit further to the back of the helicopter, in the middle section of this is where you have your bay, your open air sides on either side of the helicopter. And then there's a stretcher in there, which you probably heard as well. On the one side, which would be on the left side of the helicopter, is we have our little rope here so that we can lower down a rescue worker. And this is not a black rope. It's like a neonish green color. It's the same neon type color that we have here, the spring yellow, whatever it is, that is the accent of the helicopter. So I thought that was kind of nice. Don't just get to standard black. Like give me something good. So that is promising moving forward. I'd love to see different colored ropes for different things as we move along. And the other thing is the ends of the ropes are not tied. You do not have to tie these. They actually dead end into a 1x1 round stud. It's wild. So you can attach that to the hand on one end of the person that is your rescue person, and then the other one attaches to the stud of the mechanism that allows you to lower it down. It's crazy. First time I've seen that. Anyway, moving towards the back, we do have some stickers here with the ambulance/rescue logo idea. You know, it's standard fare these days. A door that folds down, again, same thing, sticker back here, but the door that folds down, you can get your stretcher in there, and it's a nice clean look along the back. And then we have the tail back here that actually has some tiling that is going on, which is very bizarre for Lego City helicopters. It's not a thing in the past. And then we move back towards the rear. We've got our wing, and then we have our fin that is back here on top, and then we have our rear propeller. As an aviation enthusiast, I cannot think of it. Anyway, you have your blade here in the back of the helicopter. That is the basic gist of the helicopter. You have some minifigs. Like I said, you do have a pilot, and this lovely lady comes with the pilot helmet. Oh, wait, no, I lied. This is not the lady. I thought this was the lady. For some reason, I thought there were two ladies, maybe. Anyway, I'm thinking of another set. There's so many things that I've built recently, and it's just kind of like, oh my God. Anyway, so only one face. You have a white helmet. You have the pilot, what do you want to call it? Face shield, face screen, windshield, pilot windshield. And we have the teal legs for both minifigs that are the rescuers. And then they have the similar upper body. This is of that kind of that spring yellow type color here. And then we have some printing of the emergency logo on the back. And we have some ideas of some pockets. On the female character, she has her rescue helmet that she wears. It's like a kayaking or bicycle helmet is usually what it's used for in Lego City. Anyway, both of them hair pieces, it's standard fare at this point in time. But her face, she's wearing glasses, like sport glasses, if that makes any sense. Sport glasses is in the sense that they're very much ready to go. They're not something that is going to be knocked off easily and whatnot. They almost look like safety glasses to a certain degree. And she has this new backpack piece that we have going on, and we talked about it. Was it Ninjago maybe? Maybe it was Dreams. Anyway, so she has that on her backside. It's supposed to be some kind of backpack that she's carrying. And like I said, you can lower her down and you can rescue the homie that is down here. This guy has the standard, just a backpack piece. There's nothing that goes across the chest. It's just on the back. It's red backpack. This is your civilian that they are rescuing. He has a shirt on that has some mountains with some sunset or sunrise on it. Depends how you look at it. So obviously he's some kind of adventurer, hiker, extreme sport climber, whatever you want to call him. And he's got a beanie on. He does have two faces. He has kind of a concerned face on one side, and then on the other side, he has kind of a plain, like, everything's good. Why bother me, dude? One thing that does bother me about this, on the back side of the beanie, I can see his beard. Does not cover the entire head on the back side. That is kind of a bummer. Unfortunately, it is, it is what it is. We get what we get, and we won't throw a fit. Anyway, he also comes with a flare because he's trying to signal down the helicopter. So the other one that I wanted to talk about here, I wanted to use it as a comparison. But before we do that, let's give this thing a score. Where do we give it a score? Build, design, idea, fun, play. Not a whole lot of play feature here. It's a $20 set. You have the ability to lower your rescue trooper, whatever you want to call them, diver, rescuer. You have the ability to put a stretcher in the back, and it works like it's supposed to. Not a whole lot else going on. It's a $20 set, though. Maybe, some people would be like, oh my God, we need a set build. We need something else to go along with this. Do you? I mean, do you really? I would love something else, yes. Just even like a little kind of one of the big rock pieces or something like that, just kind of decked out a little bit. Now, some of you, and even myself, depends on the mood I'm in, may say, oh yeah, that's kind of trashy. We're paying more money than we should. This would probably push it to like closer to like $25 or something like that, 25 euros. And it at that point, you're kind of like, yeah, that wouldn't really be worth it. Maybe not. However, I think the build is good. It's a really well done helicopter, to say the least. I'm really shocked in how well this is done. It is swooshable. You can take it and hold it from the tail and whip this baby all around. So that is fun. If you're looking for something just to maybe buy, to build, to maybe put with a city, with a Lego city, this is not a bad build. It's larger than some of the smaller helicopters. So then it comes into space and that whole thing. The idea of having space, not space, the theme. So for me, honestly, I would give it an 8.5. I struggle with the fact that there's something, like, I feel like there should be something else. Now, I know it's a $20 set, and you look at the history of $20 sets, and I'm like, well, this didn't have anything. That didn't have anything. I get that. I'm just giving you my opinion. I think the build is fine. I like the idea of the new pieces of the windscreen that is here. I love the new idea of going away from that silly solid piece for the landing, the skids. I never like those. They always come off. Always, because they're just basically studded on the bottom and that's it. Now, there have been cases where things have been built around them. This is better, in my opinion. We get more pieces. It's not a single mold piece. So if, for instance, a kid wants to tear this thing apart, they have those Technic pieces that they can use in other things. So that is a plus. So I'm going to go with an 8.5. I don't know. Let's give it 8 3/4, right? Let's give it an 8.75. It's not getting a 9, but it's definitely in that range of 8.5, 8 3/4. Wait, I feel like there aren't fractions, only fractions in the imperial system. I just almost blew my mind. I need to go back and check now. I'm having a moment. Anyway, as a whole, I love it. I think it's a great build. It's a solid build. It is going to be a great gift for any kid, even adult to a certain degree. So with that said, we're going to kick over into a different gear here, and we're going to go back to 1998. I need you to put on your 1998 attire, wherever you were in the world at that point, whatever age you were at that point in time. And we're going to do a little bit of side-by-side comparison of a certain helicopter that I have been a fan of ever since I bought it in 1998. I was in 8th, probably 9th grade at that point in time. So let's go ahead and talk about it. The set is called Aerial Recovery. It was from a theme called Rescue, and it was spelled RES-Q, right? RES-Q. Fun set, had a number of different sets. It was, obviously rescuing, some to do with water. I should say a lot of it surrounded water. A lot of things. We had boats, we had hovercraft. I know, how cool is that? You got your helicopter, and then you have jet skis and stuff like that. Water focused for the most part. You had some other vehicles, but it was water focused to a certain degree. Now, with that in mind, let's go ahead and talk about this thing as far as price goes. This is a long time ago. This is a long time ago. It had 194 pieces. 6462 is the set number. And here's the interesting thing. I'm going to give you a little inside note here. The set number itself is the same number that I had for the job that I did in military. Every military occupation has a certain number. Every branch does it a little bit different. In the Marine Corps, my 4-digit number was 6462. That's what I did. And it was when I got that it's called an MOS. When I got my MOS, and I had this flashback to as a kid because I remembered this set number. I loved this helicopter so stinking much. I was just blown away by it. It was so much fun. And we're not going to review it. We're going to talk about it loosely because we have something nostalgic that is going to be coming up in the future. I've been on we'll go on a little tangent here. I've been on a back buying expedition of things that I loved and things that I didn't get as a kid, couldn't afford as a kid, with income, being reduced. And it was one of those things where I slowly, a little bit at a time, you find something on Bricklink, you find something on, eBay, you find something at a thrift store or something like that. And you're like, oh yeah, I'll take this. Oh, it's missing, 20 pieces. That's fine. I'll find the pieces or buy the pieces. We're done. So we have some nostalgic themes that are going to be coming up, and we're actually going to be going through multiple sets, many multiple sets. And rescue is one of those themes that I still have. I went and I backballed all of these a while ago, probably almost 10 years ago now. But we're going to chat about some of these in the future. And then some of the other things, Lego City / Town at that point in time had some really fun sets that just, if they were built today, sold today, they would do gangbusters. So the set itself was a $25 set. So price is similar. If we look at parts, smaller amount of parts, you could say, oh, it's a little more expensive, whatever. The idea behind this, you had a helicopter that had very, very small rotors. This was well before the time of having a solid mold for, not a rotor, a rotor. The blades, thank you. That's what I was looking for. The blades. This did have a stretcher. It had a rubber piece for the stretcher that you could attach to a hook to be able to lift it, which was wild, wicked cool. It had a little skiff with a diver, which was kind of cool as well. And then we had a 3-wheeler. Are they called tricycles? No, they're not called tricycles. Trike, motorized trike, whatever you want to call it. One of the coolest vehicles Lego has ever built, like as a solid piece. I still have a few of them around. The problem is the neck would always break on it. You would connect the front wheel to the 2 wheels, the rear section of this thing, and it was a breakable part. It was frustrating. But the helicopter itself had 2 compartments for pilots and co-pilots, whatever. You had your pilot down low who had to lean back, and then you had your pilot just above, and that was cool. So he was elevated above. It had a kind of like an Apache feel, attack helicopter feel. That was kind of neat. Obviously, it wasn't a war machine. It was used for rescuing. I'm sure it resembles some kind of helicopter. But anyway, simplistic build as a whole, but smaller. Smaller in the sense that wasn't a whole lot of room to be able to put your rescued person that you were trying to save or anything like that. Kind of sucked, but it is definitely a thing, unfortunately. So when I built the original Lego City set here that we talked about, the helicopter, the rescue helicopter, the emergency rescue helicopter, I had to look at it, double check it. I thought, oh my goodness, there's something about the build. Now it's not obviously anywhere near build standards from then compared to now, but it resembled it very much so. Now, the one from 1998 from Rescue is larger. This one makes it feel larger just due to the sheer fact that the blades are so large. It's not as long as the older, I don't want to say the older version, but the one that we were discussing from Rescue. It's not as long as that one. The one from Rescue is a little bit longer, a little bit narrower, a little bit sleeker. This is definitely... the new one is more of a modern helicopter, which is perfect in its own right. I told you, I like it. I think it's a really good build. I think it's a really fun set. But the thing that, really kind of came to it was kind of how the cockpit was laid out, because this is a new cockpit piece. It's not, while it is still open air on the side, the old one was not. But while it is open on the side, it still doesn't feel so much like that. And I didn't even mention that earlier, but it doesn't really feel as much like that. The other thing that is very similar is the area where you put your rescued person. This one, the new one, you go in the rear. The old one, you go in the side. Now, the side was kind of a pain in the butt, like I said, to be able to get in there. However, it still ended up okay. There's just something, and I would love to talk to the design team about this. And just, the new one here for Lego City, it looks like a European rescue helicopter, plain and simple. But I'm very curious to see if, for instance, maybe they had some kind of like inspiration, we took our inspiration from, I don't know, from maybe from the set from 1998. You never know. Lego designers are all different ages, and you could have somebody, similar to myself in a certain age range, and you're like, remember when? But, yeah, I think there's definitely some kind of resemblance there. I definitely feel it. And I also definitely feel it as far as a size comparison, because again, not a $10 helicopter, a $20 helicopter. All right. So it's definitely in that realm right there. As far as comparison, as far as price goes, the helicopter from the new one is only about 9 cents per part, where the other one was about 13 cents per part. Big chunky plastic pieces in the old 2 windshield/windscreens, whatever you want to call them, big plastic boat. And here is what I was getting at. If you were to reproduce 6462, the aerial recovery, today, what do you think the price point would be? Same things. Obviously, it would be slightly different parts, but if you had a skiff and you had a 3-wheeler along with it, a powered trike, I mean, we got to be looking at $40, right? And you look at the one that we have right now that is sitting in front of me. Well, they're both sitting in front of me. But the new one, where do you go with that? Do you say, oh, I would have loved to see extra build with it? I would have loved to see a skiff with it. Absolutely, I would have. A cargo net? Absolutely. A trike? Oh my God, yes, please. But what would that have done to the price? Are we looking at $40? 30 for sure. But anyway, the comparison is definitely there, and it's a fun build. And they're both fun builds. And if you had the aerial recovery as a kid, or still have it now, you need to pull that thing out, dust it off, take a look at it, and be like, I appreciate you. That theme was wicked. Anyway, so new helicopter is awesome. Compares to the old one very well, in my opinion. Both solid builds. However, if you're looking for the new one, you can get it. It is still available. Obviously, it's only been around since January. We are now only in April. So that's going to wrap up this episode. Oh, I'd lie. That is not. That's going to wrap up this part of it. I just want to take a quick second, and I'm going to do this without even mentioning it to her. You guys have heard April B on the show before. Some of you know her personally. Some of you know her from being an ambassador before she decided to hang it up. Some of you have, been friends with her on social media, through Twitch when she was streaming. So if you get a chance, I strongly encourage you. And all of her social medias, I believe, are like April B or April / or _B, something like that. I encourage you to reach out, because she is going through a moment with her family. I'm not going to get into specifics, but both of her parents are in a really bad position health-wise. Like I said, I'm not going to get into specifics, but they are not doing very well. I talked to April earlier this week, and I had an opportunity to just kind of get the lowdown and stuff like that, because I'm very close with her. And I encourage you to just go ahead and reach out and just say, hey, my thoughts are with you. Prayers, if you're a religious person, you do the praying thing. Just that is what she could use the most, just support and, people that, those of you that are caring people that, like I said, know her, or maybe know of her or whatever, it would go a long way. So, and I know she's not going to ask for it, but I am. So if you're of the kind feeling, go ahead and send her a message, slide into her DMs, whatever. Send her a little bit of positivity, send her a little love, And I'm not trying to end the show on a sad note. That is not the case at all. But I definitely think it is important to, we have such a strong community in the Lego group, in the Lego community, throughout the Lego group, and everything that they do and stuff like that. I think it would go a long way for her. But so we're going to get out of here. Got some other things that are coming, some cool new things. There's something you're going to hear in about another week and a half that I think you guys are going to be blown away by. So until we meet again, I'm your minifig host, Matt. Let's build on it.